What's up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Lead From Here podcast. I'm Jason. Today we're talking about interviewing, and this is very specific to individual contributors, people that will be joining your teams. And the thing that I see people do wrong the most at the leadership level is they tend to want to be very involved in the technical part of leadership or of the interview. They want to know, they want to get into the technical details or the tactical details of this job and do you do this? Can you do this? In my experience and the leaders that I've worked with over the years, it's much better for you to take a step back. Still be a part of the panel. Absolutely interview the person, talk to them, get a conversation going, understand who they are. From an overall day-to-day perspective, when you're actually looking at interviews, you should be pulling the people that will work with them on the day-to-day perspective. If they're not actually in the team working, what value do they actually bring to the interview? You have a view of the team, you understand what's going on as a leader, but you're not in there doing the work. This person's going to be in there doing the work. Let them be interviewed by people that they'll be working alongside and build confidence in that group through the interview panel. And then you ultimately come in as the, I would say, personality, work ethic, who they are as people. Basically, you're coming in and understanding who they are as a person, not an employee, not as a technician, not as anything, just as a person. Then if you do that right, you take it to the panel, the rest of the people that actually interviewed and did the questions around the actual technical skills for the job, you'll be able to be the glue that pulls that together and really build a very complete profile for that person. This is what this person does. They're really strong tactically. They're a little weak strategically. They have a really strong work ethic based on my questions. They have a very high level of integrity based on my questions. They believe in collaboration and empathy. So you'll be able to build that very complete profile of they have the technical skills and they have the people skills. That's great. Well, they have some technical skills and a lot of people skills. Okay, that's great. Okay, they have a bunch of technical skills and no people skills. Ooh, that might be a red flag. It might not. It depends on your culture. It depends on how you guys feel about them as a person, and that'll be a panel discussion. But ultimately, you can't be the one that goes in there and does personality, technical, strategic, all of these things. You can't do all that by yourself because you're not going to get a clear picture because you're not actually in the minutia of the day-to-day of a team. So you have to bring those people in. I get a lot of questions what are good questions to ask an individual contributor's leader? A lot of questions around work ethic. Tell me a time where you didn't think you were going to hit the goal, but you ended up doing it. How did you do it? Talk me through, what do you do to grow outside of work? It's a good question. Where do you see yourself growing in the next year? What weaknesses do you have? And then another one that I like to ask is tell me about, your biggest success. This is what I usually end an interview on is talk me through your biggest success. How did it go? What are you proud of? And what was your involvement in it? Let them talk through it and then say, okay, now flip it on your head. Talk me through your biggest failure. What was your involvement? What did you learn from it? And what about it would you bring here? Other cultural questions a good question is hey, you're at a company now. What's the one thing that you would bring from that company to this company that you loved culturally? What's one thing you would bring with you if you could? And another good question to ask is hey, talk me through your last leader. How did they help your career? How did they hurt your career? And you'll start to get a picture of oh, okay, so this person's kind of blaming their leader for everything. Or this person's blaming their other peers for everything. It allows you to kind of start building a very complete profile of who this person is and understanding what they're about. I will probably do a video of all good interview questions, just a list of them at some point in the near future, but right now this is probably a good taste of it. Would love to hear any ideas anybody has in the comments, social media posts, whatever. I would love to hear it. If you have questions that you like to ask that you think help suss out the quality of a candidate. So I hope this is helpful. Please, if you like what you hear, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Appreciate you all. Take care.